MBA welcomes Director General RDIAS, Professor Colonel Retired Mahendra Singh, esteemed guests, participants, faculty members, and students on the second day of National Conference Make in India Emerging Trends of Trade and Innovations for Effective Entrepreneurship.
The day one of the conference provides a valuable learning where we heard distinguished eminent speakers having different outlook towards Make in India policy. Yesterday we witnessed our director, Professor Colonel Retired Mahendra Singh, inspirational thoughts followed by our chief guest, Dr. R.K. Mittal's view on much needed ecosystem for having Make in India campaign a great success. And then we heard Dr. Raman's insight on the theme. It was then followed by two technical sessions with variety of research paper presentations and also had insights from three esteemed external speakers who were invited for the talk.
This was just a snapshot of day 1. Now it's time to start with the technical session 3, and for that we have with us honorable presence of Dr. A.K. Singh, Ford School of Management, as our speaker and session chair. Sir has completed his PhD from University of Lucknow with the topic An Investigation into Drivers' Competitive Advantage, a case of Indian pharmaceuticals industry in retail drugs, along with UGC NET in management. He has spent around 7 years in pharmaceuticals and flexible packaging in market management and operations domain. He has been teaching students of MBA for more than 14 years. The last designation which he held was Professor and Head of Department MBA, Institute of Business Management, GLA University, Mathura. He has undergone 8 courses conducted by Strategic Management Forum of India and has received Management Teachers Program certificate. He has completed 6 months course on small scale industrial enterprise management from IIT Kanpur and is a certified auditor from Joint Accreditation System of Australia and New Zealand. He has in his credit 2 edited books and 12 publications.
Sir, we feel obliged to have you with us today. Now I would request Ms. Deepika Vashne, Head of Department MBA, to kindly felicitate our session chair and speaker for the session, Dr. A.K. Singh. We also have with us the honorable presence of our co-session chair, Dr. Manish Madan. Dr. Manish Madan, Rukmini Devi Institute of Advanced Study, is triple postgraduate and PhD in management. He has provided consultancy to a number of educational institutes in India and abroad. He carries expertise in technique as well as quantitative models of research. He has rich experience in academia and having experience of previously working as Dean Academics, Head of Department, General Secretary of Governing Body, Member of Selection Committee and Controller of Examinations. He is also awarded with Best Teacher Award by SHTR. He has presented many research papers at various national and international conferences in India and abroad. He is also awarded with 6 Best Research Paper Awards in International Conference in June 2012. He is a resource person of various faculty development programs in the field of research and SP. He is the convener of management development programs, seminars and conferences in association with Ministry of MSME, PPDC Agra and Government of India. He is General Secretary of Research and Development Board at Rukmini Devi Institute of Advanced Studies. He has chaired various national and international seminars and conferences as session chair.
Sir, we are privileged to have you with us today. Now, I would again request Ms. Deepika Vashne, Head of Department MBA, to kindly felicitate Dr. Manish Madan. Now it's time to introduce you all to the second speaker of the session, Dr. Rajesh Kumar Pilania. Professor Rajesh Kumar Pilania is a researcher with more than 75 papers authored in international and national peer-reviewed journals and conferences. He is on advisory board of more than 100 international research journals, professional bodies, and conferences consisting of leading international academicians, industry leaders, and policy makers. He has published 2 books on practice of strategy in the Indian context. He has been worked in the North America, South America, Europe, and Asia, and his academic experience includes the Business School, Punjab University, and many more. He holds a PhD and an MBA. Professor Pilania has achieved distinguished laurels such as Asia Fellow, Harvard University, Boston, USA, Visiting Fellowship, R.H. Smith School of Business, University of Maryland. He also has been awarded as MDI Best Research Professor number of times. His area of expertise and strategy in India, emerging market strategy, global strategy, innovation strategy, and MNC management. Sir has teaching interest in global strategy, innovation strategy, strategy in India, strategy in emerging markets, MNC management, and strategic CSR.
Sir, we feel obliged to have you with us today. Now I would request student coordinators of MBA, Ms. Madhvi and Ms. Bhavna, to kindly felicitate Professor Rajesh Kumar Pilania.
We also have a presence of our own head of department MBA, Ms. Deepika Vashne. I would request student coordinators to please felicitate Madam. Now, we would like to Dr. Rajesh Kumar kindly enlighten the session by sharing thoughts on the important theme Make in India. So this is for PPT. ये PPT इसके जो है और ये जो था सेकेंड होने होने ठीक है ओके ठीक है ये काम कर रहा है इसे ओके Good morning. Good morning. Last bencher, you are still awake? Good morning. Okay. My name is Rajesh, and to start with, first let me thank the organizers, DG sir, Anil, Professor Anil, for inviting me here. What I will do, I have prepared these slides, so I would share these slides and beyond that, right? So I have not come here for a lecture, I have come here for sharing my thoughts. If anyone or any question or you want to add anything, you are most welcome. You can stop me in between, okay? First thing first. The theme is on Make in India, trends in trade and innovations for effective entrepreneurship. And if you look at literature of entrepreneurship, then everyone agrees that any entrepreneur, if he or she wants to be successful, then he or she should have some element of innovation in product, processes, systems, processes, management, some kind of innovation, right? So if this is the key theme for entrepreneurship, for next 1 hour, I am going to focus on this only. The theme is very wide theme, and I have seen that there are more than 50 or 60 papers, very good. I am going to focus only on one part, innovation, because this is a key element required for entrepreneurship, for making India happen, right? And we are a huge population, and we have multiple problems. So we need innovation not only for industry, but we also need social innovations to solve our many problems, social problems, right?
we agree that everyone has a role to play. To achieve this goal of making India happen, everyone has a role to play. Government has a role. Broadly, we can divide that into three parts. One, that government need to make doing business in India easy. Government need to invest in infrastructure, and government need to come up with second round of reforms. So government need to do many things, but these three things are very important for entrepreneurship. Similarly, industry has a role to play. Industry need to invest more in innovations. Industry need to invest more in entrepreneurship. We have a concept called corporate entrepreneurship, that even big companies can have entrepreneurs within themselves, right? And third is, industry has this 2% spending on CSR. So industry can use that 2% spending wisely to promote entrepreneurship and innovation in the rest of India, particularly solving those social problems, right? So government has a role, industry has a role, and in this room most of us are academicians or students, right? So we also have a role. When I was a student, or when I go to conference and I'm in the audience, I'm always thinking, okay, there is a good speaker or bad speaker or some speaker, and I'm going to listen to him for next 1 hour. So what I will get out of this, right? So what is in it for you? For academicians, researchers, what I'm going to focus on is emerging innovation approaches, which might be of more relevance to you. For students, I'm going to focus more on this, how to be a great innovator or entrepreneur, because you're at that stage where you have a lot of ideas and you want to implement those ideas, right? And in the end, to sum up the whole story, key takeaways. In India, we have a lot of ideas. We are not short of ideas. You go on the road, ask for a direction, everyone would give an advice, right or wrong advice. So we are not short of ideas. Probably what we are short of is implementation, right? So while I am discussing all these two things and my key takeaways, I would give you some ideas, but I would also suggest how to implement those ideas, right? Okay. So point one is, what are the emerging approaches to innovation? And within this, due to limited time, I am going to focus only on three parts. One is MI-ETTIEE effect, another is design thinking, and another is social innovation. If you go to conferences or if you read the latest literature, you would find a lot of talk about these three things. And a lecture need not to be boring. So let's start with an interesting example, a very interesting story. And we watch movies, right? Students, we watch movies, right? Okay, have you seen this movie PK? Okay. Why this movie was funny? Because of alien. There was an alien who came to Earth, and there were differences between the culture of the alien and the culture of Earth. That's the logic. If the alien was also from Earth, there would be no humor, right? So from that movie, these are some of the realities of the Earth. And these are the realities from the alien planet. And there's a contrast. There's a contrast. And that's why humor happens, right? Need to wear clothes, don't need to wear clothes, can read mind, don't need language, need God, people can help each other, don't need God. This is one movie from Raju Irani. If you look at his other movies, Munna Bhai MBBS, the humor happens because a Don wants to be a doctor. There is a contrast. You don't expect a Don to be a doctor. Lagero Munnabai, a Don, want to apply Gandhian principle. Someone who is violent by definition want to be non-violent. That's why the humor happens. Similarly in Three Idiots. So the crux of these two slides is Raju Hirani's movies are humorous because he puts two different concepts together. Right? DJ sir was talking about electricity bill, cost of AC. So is there any way that by using innovation we can reduce electricity bill? There is a way. This is a building in Harare, Zimbabwe. And the designer used a concept for cooling of this building, and he was successful, and only 10% of the cost was incurred for cooling. And he got the inspiration from where? Termite nest in Sub-Sahara. Using this concept, the designer came up with this building where he saved 90% of electricity cost. So two contrasting, you won't find designers looking for insights or inspiration from a source like this, right? And this is called MI-ETTIEE effect. These two stories are example of MI-ETTIEE effect. And what it says is this, that great innovations, they always happen at the intersection of two different areas, two different cultures or two different domains. We know this, but why so many innovations are not happening? It's not happening because we have something called associative barriers. What does it mean is this? As individuals, when we are growing up, we get life experiences, and those experiences get stored in our mind, and then we run in auto mode. For example, if I have some problem 5 years ago, I found a solution for that, that solution would stay in my mind. So if I face the problems today again, I would try to apply the same solution, right? So we run in auto mode, and those, because of the associative barriers, we don't think out of box. How to break those barriers? We need to reverse our assumptions. If you want to go for more MI-ETTIEE effect, if you want to go for more breakthrough innovations, we need to take care of associative barriers, and to take care of that, we need to reverse our assumptions about many things. For example, now we want to have high-speed trains to reduce the timing between stations, right? But one of the key challenges is, from the starting point till destination, the train need to stop at many stations. Or you can reduce the number of stations also. But even then the train need to stop. And when the train stops, the overall time increases. So is there any way that we can take care of this using reversing our assumptions? Sir, can you play this video now? This is an example from China. What they did, they came up with an idea that train doesn't stop at the station. There's a bogie in the train, people want to get off, they go in that bogie, and at the station that bogie leaves behind. On the station, no, not this one, sir, not this one.
提前进入车顶的周转车厢。旅客们，北京开往广州方向的168次高速不停站火车 马上就要通过本站，请前往广州方向各站的旅客提前进入站台的周转车厢。旅客们，武昌车站到了，请大家按先后次序下车，下次旅行再见。
Sir, can you play it once again? It's only 1 minute video.
进入车顶的周转车厢。旅客们，北京开往广州方向的168次高速不停站火车马上就要通过本站，请前往广州方向各站的旅客提前进入站台的周转车厢。旅客们，武昌车站到了，请大家按先后次序下车，下次旅行再见。
Wait. Yes, okay. That one, yes. Thank you. So if we reverse our assumptions, we can come up with innovations, right? So the first emerging theme in innovations is that we need to go for more and more MI-ETTIE effect. So we have limited time, so I won't discuss more about this. What you can do, you can Google about this. There's a book, there are online lectures by the person who gave this concept. And if you are curious why the name MI-ETTIE effect, actually MI-ETTIE was a family in Italy, in Florence. And they were probably the biggest bankers in Europe during 13th till 16th century. And this is the family who is responsible for bringing the Renaissance to Europe. They sponsored artists, different creative people to come together and stay in Florence, right? The idea was that if different people come together, different ideas would merge and new ideas would come. So using the same family name, the researchers have given the name MI-ETTIE effect. Google about this, there is a book on this. There are lectures by the researcher who gave this concept. You can know more about this, but it's a very interesting concept, right? So this is one emerging concept in innovation. Second concept is design thinking. Sir, can you start the video? Second video.
Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. No bigger on a trip, would you all come in with a little bit of this and a little bit of that? You can get what you see, you can see what you get, and I bet that you're all a little bit excited. If you need an autograph, honey, I can write it. I got girls, world.
you see the trouble with me?
I like to get coffee between classes, and then it's a problem because I need to go from place A to place B, and it takes a much longer time to walk. So I'd rather be on my bike holding my coffee, but given all the people walking around on campus, it's an even bigger problem. Suppose I'm not that good at bicycling and just holding one, but given all the people walking.
What I do, I actually have to stop for coffee, which means most of the time I don't get to drink coffee because I don't have enough time to stop. This would be awesome.
Well, I think it'd be perfect right here.
Our users are college students who ride bikes on campus, like the ones outside. Yeah, such as the ones outside, and they need an easy way to carry their coffee from place to place.
From place to place. Actually, they don't want to be drinking the coffee while they're riding. It's just a means to
because they always
carry
have to
from
hold
one place to another.
So it's a means for them to carry the coffee from one place to another without spilling. That's a need.
The coffee or any other.
The insides are that it has to be really versatile. So it has to like clip on and cup and play. It has to be cheap.
Yeah,
Right,
they don't
so
put
it's
as much
much
about
more-
styles. It's
so
more
they
about
can-
functionality.
Yeah, and what else? It has to fit multiple cup sizes.
And also a lot of people drink Red Bull or other kind of, not just coffee, so
Right,
it
yeah.
needs to work for something else also.
Yeah, like smaller.
So that's
cans.
our point of view. So college students who bike on campus need a fast and easy way to get their cups or coffee cups across from campus without spilling, and they need it to be cheap, versatile, and
Multi-purpose.
Don't wanna be an American idiot. Don't want a nation under the new media. Hey, can you hear the sound of the stereo? The subliminal.
Cup holder and then like some binding thing around it, and that's it. That's easy because I can do anything with it.
This works really well for me.
It fits well.
Yeah, this one obviously does not.
Okay, so you like that one because of it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and actually, you might have different size like cups, and sometimes maybe you won't fit. It's like cups.
It's like a cleat that you put in your bag. You have also big ones that is a lot. And you have added like between like in your bag, like here for example. We also have that one that is super beautiful.
you. I believe in miracles. Since you came along, you sexy thing.
So one of the things that I really like is that actually the cup has holes in the bottom, so that when it rains, you know, it doesn't the water doesn't accumulate in the cup.
Where did you come from, baby? How did you know I needed you?
I call you, I need you, my heart's on fire. You come to me wild and wild. You come to me.
This is a great product. It should be manufactured and make tons of money.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone.
So what we have seen an example of how to implement design thinking for innovation. So the first approach was MI-ETTIEE approach, and this approach is design thinking. And this is getting very popular. The most famous example is Apple. Apple as a company is using this approach, right? And what it does is, for any innovation, we require three things. There is a need for it, desirability, there is a business viability for that, and there is feasibility for that. At the intersection, innovation happens. If there is no need, innovation won't survive. If the technology is there, but it's not viable business, then it would fail. So at this intersection, innovation happens, right? And what design thinking does is, how it's different from other approaches. In the last century, the focus of management is on analysis. Gather data, do analysis, more analysis, more analysis. And many times what happens is paralysis by analysis. What it does is, this concept says that we need to find a balance between intuition and analysis. We need to use both, not only mind all the time. Right? This is what you have seen. We start with this. We observe people without being judgmental. We go around, observe people, what they are doing, how are they doing, what is missing, what are their needs, without being judgmental. So we look at their needs with an empathy, without being judgmental. Right? Based on this, we refine the idea. We get insights. For example, if Henry asked people during that period of time, what do you need? They would say faster horse. Before Henry Ford, people were using horses for travel. So if you would have gone for a survey, typical market survey, and asked people, okay, what do you want? They would have said a faster horse. But actually they don't want a faster horse. What they want is a faster mean to transportation. So the insight is how to reduce the time of transportation. Right? So based on observing, we come up with insights. Then we go for a brainstorming session. Without killing any idea, just discuss different ideas, all possible ideas. More the number of ideas, better the chance of getting a good idea. Based on those ideas, we try to filter the idea using those three things: feasibility, desirability, and viability. We go for a prototype. And after this, we go for a test. And the rule is that if we start testing in the beginning, it's good. If we fail in the beginning, it's good. Because if we fail at a later stage, that would mean we have invested more time and more resources. Right? So testing is a time to get more feedback. And we should be happy if you fail in the testing. If you don't fail in the testing, maybe you would fail at some later stage. There are chances. So better if you fail at testing stage again and again, so that we take care of all the loopholes, right? And this whole process is called design thinking. If you remove this part, this is a typical innovation process. But design thinking is different. What makes design thinking different from other kind of innovation is this part, that we use more of intuition, we empathize, right? And here also we don't go for a typical survey, we go for insight. Okay, I will give another example. In innovation area, the leading thinker in the world is Christensen Clairton. He is based at Harvard, and he is the one who gave this idea of disruptive innovation, innovator's dilemma, innovator's solution. So he was approached by one of these big fast food companies. What was the problem? One of these big fast food companies, they were trying to increase the sale of milkshake, banana shake. So they went for a survey. They asked people, okay, you are drinking our milkshake or mango shake, banana shake or mango shake, what else you want? So people told them, okay, add this flavor, add that flavor. And that company did that. But the sale was same. What do you do in a typical market survey? You go and ask people that would you buy this, would you buy that? People would say yes, 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 and then they don't buy. Right? So same thing was happening with that company. So what that company did, they went to this Professor Christensen Clairton and asked him, can you help us with this? So what they did, they went to the outlets of that company and observed people. What people were doing, typically they were coming in the morning, asking for that particular shake, and then leaving in the car. They were not drinking it there in the outlet. So they observed them for a couple of days, then they started stopping them, the customer. Why are you buying this drink? What do you expect from this? And for the surprise of the company, the people were not going for that drink for taste or nutrition. No. Their reason was totally different. Their reason was that they were going for a drive. They were going to drive to office 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, and they need something which can last that long. Something which can make them feel that the stomach is full. Something which doesn't spill over, because when you are driving, you never know when you need to press a brake. Right? So what they were telling in the market survey and what they actually wanted, totally different. And this professor was able to find out the difference because he observed them, he listened to them. He didn't went with a pre-planned survey or a questionnaire. Right? So the second interesting approach, which is becoming famous, popular, is design thinking. And one company which is using it, there are many companies, but one of the famous companies that is using is Apple. And another element of design thinking is that instead of communicating through words, if you communicate through pictures, it's easier and better. It's more creative. And we are better designers than we think, all of us. I do this exercise when I go for workshops, and I ask students or faculty or people from industry that bring out your pen and paper, and only 30 seconds. Can we have this here also for 30 seconds? You have a pen and paper? Okay. I will prove you that you are better designer than you think. All of us. You have only 30 seconds, and I would give you 3 words and you need to draw something describing that word. Okay, ready? Ready? Okay. The first word is dry road. 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 Sadak. You have only 10 seconds. Quick. Dry road. Sadak. Out of 10 seconds, 5 seconds gone. Only 5 seconds left. Quick. Okay, time up. A second word is draw face of someone whom you like. Draw a face of someone whom you like. Anyone. You have only 10 seconds. Face of someone whom you like. You have only 10 seconds. Quick. Okay, time up. Third word is draw the picture of a classroom you love. Any classroom which you love. Any class which you loved in your life. You have only 10 seconds. Classroom. Picture. Class of any picture of any classroom that you loved in your life. Your school, your college. You have only 10 seconds. Okay, your time is up. The last part is exchange your drawing with someone sitting next to you. Quick. And give marks out of 10. Quick. Quick. And give marks out of 10. Quick. You need to give marks out of 10. Quick. Okay, sir. Sir, ma'am, students, anyone who has got less than 3 marks? Or less than 4 marks? Generally people give 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 also. So we are good designers. Right? So what I have tried to do is that we are better designers than we think. So design thinking, one of the things it says is that we need to use more designs, more pictures compared to words, because pictures make us more creative. They are more expressive. And we don't need to be an expert in designing. We just need to draw pictures to convey our idea. Right? And if none of you get less than 4 marks, many of you are getting 10 marks, proves that we are better designers than we think. Okay? Third point is this. And we have limited time, so I would suggest that you Google this word design thinking. You will get a lot of videos, and there is a school in Stanford University, School of Design Thinking, and they have uploaded many videos by the even by the person who gave this concept. So Google, go to design thinking at Stanford School and you will know more in detail, right? So these are two approaches which are becoming popular in innovation, right? And third approach is the social innovation. Almost every big or good university in US and Europe, mainly in US, when they talk about innovation, they also talk about social innovation. Because we have many problems as society, and it's become more relevant in our context. We are more than 1.2 billion. Government can't do everything for us. Industry can't do everything for us. So we need to take care of ourselves in a way also, right? And that's why social innovation is more important for us. For example, out of 1.3 or 4 billion that we are, I think around 68% or 70% are below 35 years of age. So we have huge young population, and one of the key challenges is how to impart skills. If you want to make in India happen, actually, we need people with good skills. There are many surveys by McKinsey and others which show that our graduates are not good enough to work in industry. So skill development is very important. So can someone come up with a concept that building skill is easy? For example, MIT is doing something. MIT in US, what they are doing is they are offering online courses for free. Anyone who wants to learn about entrepreneurship, about innovation, can go and register and learn for free. If you want a certificate, then you need to pay. Right? So if you Google MIT online learning platform, you will find that. Our minister for HRD is trying to do the same thing here in India, and they are asking IIMs and IITs to come up with short-term courses for free online. We need more and more innovations for that. Everyone doesn't have the paying capacity. Everyone doesn't have the 2 years or 3 years to invest in BBA, MBA. And there are also people who are already in the workforce. So can there be some innovative solutions for skill building of those people? And we as a country, one of our big problem is that our graduates, undergraduates don't have the required skills to work in the industry. And if you want to make Making India happen, this is one of the key areas. Education, skill building. ITIs were started with the same aim, but you know the story. So maybe Indian companies with their 2% CSR spending can invest here, can adopt ITIs, or can come up with solutions for skill building, right? So education is only one problem. We have many more problems. For example, healthcare. There we have some good examples. For example, we have this Narayan Healthcare, Hardale. Narayan Hardale, they are able to perform heart surgeries at 10% of the cost in US. And our quality is also better than US quality. So they are not compromising on cost. They have come up with process innovations to reduce the cost to 10%. Similarly, we have Arvind Eye Care, many more, right? And now they are so good that they are going back to US. They are going to US and starting a center in US to provide cost-effective health services in US. And this concept is also called reverse innovation. That someone from an emerging market like India, innovating in India and selling it in developed countries. Reverse innovation. Any multinational would not come to India for our welfare. They would look for their own interest also, right? And one of their interest is, from innovation perspective, is how to come up with more innovation at less and less cost. Because innovations in US and Western Europe are becoming very costly. So I need to come up with innovations with lesser cost and in minimum time possible, and for that they are looking at India. For example, GE, they have some equipment which measures health, heart, ECG. They came to India and they are able to come up with a portable ECG taker whose cost is almost 1/100th of the cost in US. Portable, you can use it using battery. And now they have taken it back to US because there are many situations where people want to use those portable things. For example, military operations, field operations, right? So social innovation, within that reverse innovation, another concept. So we as a country need more and more social innovation. If you want to invest more, if you want to attract and invest more in innovation, one good source is multinationals from outside, and they would come to us if we create a situation wherein they are able to innovate, not only for India, but take it back home also, right? So the first point was more for faculty, that what are the recent trends in innovation. So these three things are happening things: MI-ETTIEE effect, design thinking, and the social innovation. Fourth one I talked about is reverse innovation. It's also becoming very popular. So maybe you can use it in your research. If you want to know more, we have limited time, but if you want to know more, I would suggest that you go and Google. There are enough number of videos on this, all of these three. Also on reverse innovation. Reverse innovation concept is given by Professor Govindarajan, right? This one is more for students. Second one, you are at an age when you will go to industry or you will start something of your own, and probably you would like to know that how Bill Gates became Bill Gates, or how Steve Jobs became Steve Jobs, like how to be a good or great entrepreneur or innovator. And this is a very interesting piece of article in HBR, which has studied all these big famous innovators, entrepreneurs, and they have come up with certain traits, certain things which were common among all the people, and they call it innovators DNA. And it has 5 skills. Associating. Can we connect unrelated ideas? If we can connect unrelated ideas, we can come up with more innovations. For example, using that ant's nest for building, right? Questioning. Can we challenge the common wisdom? Can we reverse our assumptions? Observing. Observe what's happening around you. Not only the existing customers, but non-customers also. Then a lot of experiments to gain insights. It's rarely that you will start with an idea and you would reach a destination. Your idea would need improvement, refining, and more experiments you do, better it would become, right? So experimenting is very important. And last one is networking. This is not typical networking that we think of. What they mean is, I need to know more and more about many things. So networking here means is that people who are not from my area, but different other fields who are knowledgeable, right? So I network with them and try to get more and more knowledge, because it's almost impossible for anyone to know everything, right? So these are some of the examples. Steve Jobs, he was good at this. I would leave my slides here. So these are some of the examples. And as innovators, do we need to have all these 5 skills? No. Even if you are good at one skill, it will help us. And the most important is cushioning. And as the old saying, practice makes a man perfect, so practice. What happened with my this? Okay, my last slide only has the takeaways, the summary of what I have discussed. And my father used to work for army, so I am punctual about time. So my time is up. So if you have any question or any comments you want to make, you are welcome. Yes, sir.
See, to be a good innovator, he has stated one of the qualities which you should have. You should be a good observer. I say, if you observe nature, there are so many things which are happening, and Upasana, I think, is aware of this. We had a discussion with Mr. Brady, who came from USA, and he was conducting the lecture here. So many phenomena are happening in the nature, and in nature, so many things are there: insects, birds, animals, and how they are behaving and how they are solving their problems. So, to solve our day-to-day problems, we can imitate some of these natural things, and it can improve our quality of life.
Yes.
He has stated in this thing observing, so you extend your horizon and you can come out with some innovations. When I went to see Gwalior Fort, we were sitting and it was summer, and we found a beautiful air conditioning effect. So what they have done, they have created some ducts. When the breeze blows, it comes out like this, and it is getting into this. You don't see any fans or anything, but beautiful breeze is coming, and we were very comfortable inside. It was because of the routing of ducts and seeing that all corners, every room inside, things are well having good circulation of air. Same way, if you go to see Taj Mahal, I had some extra time. I did not know how to spend my time in Agra, so I used to go walking to Taj Mahal. When you are inside, things are so cool. How they have designed one building, another building, wall, in between again ducts, and you are very cool inside. Temperature is low. When it is summer, then also it is like that. So this is they have created these building designs and other things based on the natural phenomena which are occurring. And he has given that ants nest, and we did utilize something there in our engineering college when we were building it. If you see the layout design, in the morning it faces the sun, but after that the sun goes above the building and the building doesn't get overheated. Otherwise, some of the other engineering college buildings are such that whole day they are exposed to sun, and it becomes very difficult for the students to sit. We had gone to see one engineering college, that is what we observed, and then we changed our directions of the building. So this is what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing your profound knowledge with us. Your interesting and interacting examples and the idea of innovation approaches and related barrier crystallizes the thought of the audience. Thank you once again.
Now it's time to learn about Make in India policy from Dr. A.K. Singh. Sir, can we have a round of applause?
Excuse me, can I use this pen drive here? Can I use pen drive here? It will work, no? I think. Okay, it's fine. We'll minimize it. Keyboard will work, na? Keyboard will work. Just good morning. You know, if I say what I am going to do and what I am going to talk about, I'll take three interesting, news articles, information which I have come across, witnessed, and then I have a short presentation which I'm going to talk about. Now, first thing, I thank the organizers, Sir Anil Goel and the Director General, for giving me an opportunity to do two things. First is sharing my views with you, trying to get endorsement whether the thought which I have, is it in the right direction or it needs to be improved. That's one way. Second thing, I'm not very old to Delhi. It has been 1.5 years, and it is for the first time I am crossing through this zone, and I come to know, okay, where is Rohini and where are the things. So thank you all for this wonderful opportunity. And when I was coming in my taxi, the person was very sensible. He had, this news going on. And there were two pieces of information which I could hold on, and I felt excited, which added meaning to my presence and my deliberations at this organization. The first thing was the change in the outlook of Moody. From stable to positive, it's something we should feel very proud of, And second thing, and if you see the chief of IMF, Jim Yong Kim, had tremendous appreciation for the financial inclusion measures which the government has initiated. Now, these two wonderful pieces of information adds meaning to the theme of this conference, that is Make in India, and to strive to make this happen. There's no doubt that, okay, entrepreneurship is the key. Now, this is what it gives us a signal. It's a signal. Say, for all the students who are sitting here, I ask you one question. If you have appeared in an uncertain exam, you are not aware of the curriculum, if you are not aware as to the pattern of examination, and everyone starts coming and asking you as to how was the exam, I think you will be faring very better. Every time everyone is coming and asking how was the exam, how did you perform, after some point of time you feel that, okay, whatever I have done, let me wait for the results and it can prove how could I perform. Now, this is a 6-month-old phenomenon. Only September this thing came to play, Make in India. And we are, we are very impatient human beings. We do today something and tomorrow we expect the results. It cannot be. It cannot be. But what the results will be is there by the signals. And signals, if you see this Modi's, upgrading of Indian economy, positive sentiments about Indian economy, and how the World Bank, IMF and things are, they are appreciating. Now we are living a very turbulent world. It's very, very, very turbulent, full of uncertainties. We don't know what things are going to take shape in future. And still, if you are trying to do something, that is applaudable, for, according to me. Second thing, when I talk about, recently we were for around about 10 days in China. We visited a number of establishments, saw a number of factories. To our amusement, yes, one of the factories I can recall, they were making this hair brushes, combs, clips and everything like that. That establishment had a turnover of near to 800 crores. Indian rupee, I am translating it so that it becomes easy to understand the magnitude which I am going to talk about. Now, can we imagine that type of configuration of business enterprise which makes a turnover of 800 crores by virtue of making petty parts valued at 1 rupee, 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 20 rupees? It's difficult, but yes, this is what is a mechanism which is going to drive our future. Now, this is the second thing which I wish to share with you. And third thing, I say, I got inspired by Professor Rajesh thoughts, and I do certain activities in my class, and I just want to demonstrate how rigid we have become over a period of time. Now, for that rigidity, I'll just use this board. Yeah, marker here. Yes, it's there. It's only for the students. Okay. Now, I draw this. I draw this. I draw this. What is this? What is this? What is this? No, I just put a tick mark there. I just put a tick mark there. I didn't mean to say, what is happening. Let me share it with you all. If you do the same activity in front of a kid who is just 2 to 3 years old, who has not been exposed to the natural scenery, or the pictorial scenery which we have since our early childhood been drawing, he will call these things by a number of terms. It means we have become so rigid that anything, any dot, any signal, any cross, any tick mark over the mountains in between the ridges will be a bird. Should not be. And that's what I say. Now, there is some problem in conditioning of our thoughts from the very beginning. And this conditioning of thought is a major deterrent to the themes we have talked about right now, sir. And therefore, since we have not done anything, not achieved anything in 5 years, past 5 years, what is happening? We were continuously witnessing, okay, the crude was at dangerous levels, the inflation was high, the interest rate was rigid, and these all things were happening. And these all things were happening, so for past 5 years, we have been conditioned. We have been conditioned, and we cannot digest and accept whether this thing can be a reality or not, prosperous. And to make this tiger or this lion really roaring, there has to be conviction. And that conviction I call from the student primarily, because their conviction will allow them to manufacture clips and comms and take to a magnitude of 1,000 crore, 5,000 crore enterprise. It can be done. Okay, now I'll just start with a brief presentation which I had. And for teachers, it becomes very important. One thing very interesting and funny about teachers is, no, there cannot be a time limit for a teacher. So ask him, how much time do you require? So the simple answer is, what time are you giving? What time are you giving? So it's half an hour, fine. It's 10 minutes, fine. It's 2 hours, fine. Because this happens, it's a psychology of teacher. So when they were sharing with me, I said, okay, don't worry, sir. As such, I am not. I have a very unstructured kind of presentation, so I'll be probably taking lesser time to do it. Now, let us see something about, how meaningful this philosophy, this agenda can become. And if we understand, to understand, how meaningful it can become, we have to trace. Now, if we see carefully, now this is the 5th generation of manufacturing reforms which are going to be practiced in Indian context. If you see to it, these reforms, first manufacturing reform was there in 1930s when Britishers, and it was colony, and they, because of their vested benefits, business interests, they started promoting manufacturing of cotton, sugar and things like that. Continued for some time. And then when we talk about immediate to independence 1950s, we find that, okay, we had again manufacturing reorientation, and this reorientation was about substitution of imports. Then 1980s, yet another phase, liberalization started making inroads. Post 2004, if we talk about UPA regime, we have to appreciate what they have done. If you talk about National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, that was a wonderful initiative taken by UPA 1. And probably because of the political uncertainties and ideologies, things could not move the way they were designed to in the UPA 2 regime. But yes, this was something they did great. And now we have a new regime that is focusing on Make in India. Now, Make in India from a student's perspective in management, what is this? It cannot be a sheer philosophy. I look at this thing as a complete managerial issue. A complete managerial issue. See, what do we do in management? And this management, when we talk about, one is we have to have a vision, thought, objective. Fine. Second, we have to design methodology and processes. We have to allocate resources and then execute the plan. And that's what, it's not sheer political slogan. It is a meaningful management system wherein you have to talk about, identify what are the new processes, what are the new sectors, what is the new mindset, and what is the new infrastructure required. These are the 4 pillars on which this Make in India kind of philosophy or the endeavor can rest upon. And anything, if it can add to it, will make this thing as reality. Okay, so if we talk about Drucker's opinion, what does it say? The best way to predict the future is to create it. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Now, what we are trying to do by this initiatives taken by us, now we are going to create a different future for India. And we know in times to come, China, because of that rule of one child, is going to have increased, losing its cost competitiveness. That is taken for sure, because there are severe labor problems nowadays. One child in a family, would you like that child to work in an enterprise which is giving you peanuts? No. Now, the one child in a, you will try to give him the best kind of education. You want to see the child to prosper position, and that's what has happened. And that's what China is now seriously thinking about, revisiting that. Okay, now by this slogan we are creating something new. Sorry. Now, I have these two basic slides which probably will help us to reinforce our conviction for our vision. The first thing, if we talk about, this is the broad classification of sector wise. Sir, please.
Yesterday, when we were discussing, that professor from IIM Ahmedabad, he had started talking that this philosophy or the strategy which has been enunciated by our Prime Minister is nothing new, and it is old, can be made in India. I had to intervene with his slide, can clearly distinguish between made in India and what is make in India. Make in India is economic strategy for future.
मुझे टाइम के लिए इशारा देना.
What are the various processes, what are objectives, what infrastructure requirements, what to make, all these things is embedded in this Make in India philosophy. So this becomes clear now today. So I tried to make my comments and clarify yesterday also, but now today it is amply clear.
Thank you, Colonel Mahendra ji. First for endorsing, that gives you enough of confidence. Okay, that you are in true direction. Okay, fine. Thank you very much.
Yesterday also make my comment, but it was having.
Sir, people differ in their opinion, and let us see. In fact, at times conflict is important, and that's what Professor Rajesh thinks will come. If everyone goes on one side, Professor Rajesh cannot speak anything. Because for innovation, you have to have good critics. One is for, one is against. So it has to be, and I thank you for this. Now I'll quickly the two slides. Now two slides. I just want to tell everything well appreciated, well taken, because now we have a direction. Now, if we talk about the GDP sector wise composition, we have services, industry and agriculture. Now, why I want to tell this? Because there is a question, is the competitiveness and progress in GDP sustainable if we have service contribution of 52.3%? Say the services now contribute to the GDP near to an extent 80%. It's a hypothetical scenario. But can you sustain it? Now, this is a fundamental question, and therefore, this idea, this initiative has embedded meaning, because there are too many low-cost economies nowadays. Underdeveloped economies, the only competency by which we are able to have control on the services sector and to and it is driving our economy is the English and the democratic dividend. Now, if other nations start focusing on the advantages what we are using to leverage our GDP, probably we will be losing our competitiveness because of that, and therefore services cannot be taken as a granted measure for competitiveness of a nation, because today we may be good, tomorrow there may be n number of nations who have better English, better young generation, better cost configurations, and then we are going to lose it, and therefore it becomes that this is a sector which has to be dwelled upon, has to be focused upon, and therefore it is only that we have a vision kind of thing that okay, in times to come we will lose our competitiveness if we solely rely on the services sector to give us the prosperity which we have right now. So therefore we need to shift from services to certain core and fundamental areas, and therefore these core and fundamental areas can be none other than industry, or industry when I talk about it becomes manufacturing, and therefore it is a literature supported, a documented view that okay, now this will definitely lead to the sustained competitiveness when we talk about a nation. I'll be leaving this aspect because agriculture, there are certain critics. When I was going through the opinion on the blogs, when I was going through opinion of a number of people, it's it is very interesting to note that something in Indian context, say if I'm falling, say I am not feeling well, so the complete environment around me will become doctor, prescribing one or another medicine. Now that is what is happening. If you talk about something which has come up, has to have criticism, but I appreciate one thing, that in fact in spite of searching everything was available, I cannot say that I have searched everything, but to the limit which I am able to, I did search, try to search for considerable time. I could find a very limited amount of criticism. One criticism was this. One criticism was, what about agriculture which still supports 50% of our workforce but contributes to a mere 15% of GDP? No, I don't understand, and it is a critique by an economist. I say, if I talk about agriculture, does not include this thing? MI will be, I'll be manufacturing only machines which are not used for agriculture? Obviously no, and therefore if this prosperity is there and no change is by keenness or willingness. If you have to induce change, you have to create an environment where change take place. Now what will happen? Now industrialization or manufacturing grows, people shift will be there naturally in manufacturing sector. But once people shift will be there in the manufacturing sector, agriculture will have people deprivation. In fact, people will be less when we talk about agriculture. When people will be less, the land mass therefore ratio will improve. And when it improves, people will get better land, bigger land. Now, this phenomenon can be explained in that fashion also. I'll not go into details of it, but my understanding to all the critics who say you have left agriculture and not included when we talk about manufacturing. Now, it does not mean that my manufacturing initiatives for Make in India is going to be devoid or away from agriculture. To be demographic dividend, and we have a huge demand base. And this is what is going to support what is mentioned at the back. I'll talk about one more slide. Now, certain suggestions I can give. Now, they cannot be interpreted as a criticism, because if we talk about this campaign, this initiative, which if we talk about Indian context, we find that okay, certain peninsular states, if we talk about, they have higher competitive to another states. So if we talk about, there is a debate say, as to who makes, is it center which makes or the states which make? No doubt states make, but to make this uh, endeavor fruitful and productive, we have to find out a mechanism by which states can be integrated. States can be integrated so that UP learns from Maharashtra, Maharashtra learns from Gujarat, Gujarat learns from Rajasthan, cross learning. And if you talk about this learning, it has been taken care of by dismantling of the planning commission and having a different mechanism by which plan allocations will be done, and higher proportion now will be delivered to state, has been taken care of by this. Okay. So there are some people say, will it add to employment? Because what they say about the a political economy, they say when MNCs and other companies come and invest in India, they are basically investing in capital intensive businesses, not in labor intensive businesses. And therefore, when you have capital intensive businesses wherein the kind of employment which you are trying to generate, is it possible? No. But again, sir mentioned about this new council which is going to take care about the new vocational training courses and something which we certainly hear on the radio webcast also, radio cast also. We find that okay, it has also been taken care of. A national skill scheme, something like that, it has come into play. It will be taken care of. So some says okay, people again say, oh, this version, this is something is a Indian version of Chinese model. How it can be? No, it is not Chinese model, because if you talk about India's success is market led. It's the market forces which are deciding as to why and how India is growing. Wherein if you talk about China, it is state induced. So there is still another argument. They say okay, now if we talk about European Union and the big fat Czech countries, they will be primary consumers for you again. And this demand, when we talk about US and UK or Europe, they say that the external demand is narrowing down. So how you can achieve it? Whatever it is, we have to see away and apart from US and Europe. Those are the nations, the needs are different, the things are different. There's a whole lot of globe to be explored for the business options. So what I have done is, I have seen few criticisms, and I have tried to augment as to how these criticisms can be neutralized, and therefore trying to deliberate further for these things. The session which is going to come is focusing on financial stability and approaches towards financial governance. This is something which is a key for country's development, and therefore in the coming session we try to explore what is the financial stability, how financial stability will be structured, what are the mechanisms, and these all things alike in the coming session. Thank you. I did manage time, I think. Thank you very much. नो सर, ये तो क्या था? हाँ?
Listening you filled us with enthusiasm and surely set a perfect platform for our speakers to deliver their presentations.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Rajesh Palania, having busy schedule, have to leave for the day. So I request Dr. Anil Goel, convener of the conference, to honor Dr. Palania with token of remembrance of the conference.
Before starting with the presentations, let's break for a tea and proceed to ground floor hall and come back in 20 minutes to start with technical session 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oi, wait. Thank you.
We welcome you back. Now, with an objective of encouraging the spirit of research and innovations, I hand over the forum to the session chair of the event, Dr. A.K. Singh.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Thank you. So, as per the time schedule which is given to us, it's right now 12:30, and they have asked us for, we have planned the lunch around 1:30, but bear with me. I'm a person who is very fond of food, but trying to do justice to the people who are here to present paper, we can stretch a bit. So, for the students and to my young faculty colleagues, I request them until we are through with the talks and presentation, we may trouble you for a few more minutes. It may not be hours, but must be in minutes. Okay, so we see, as per the time limit, we have around 6 people who are here to talk about their 9. We have 9. So 9 makes us around, we have 1 hour. So we go for 7 minutes per person. We go for 6 minutes that you have to wind your talk. And then we have few questions that will be for say around about 1 or 2 minutes. So in that we will try to manage things. So what will happen? Say after your 6 minutes, say around 5.5 minutes or 6 minutes, we'll be giving an indication. My colleague or the friend me, he'll be signaling that you're nearing to your end time, and therefore you have to wind it up. Not taking much of time, I now request Miss Renu Yadav and Justin Mandeep Kaur for their paper, that is Global Economic Crisis and Entrepreneurship in India.
Good afternoon to all of you, all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and to all who are present over here. I, Renu Yadav, Assistant Professor, Ideal Institute of Management and Technology, with my friend and colleague Jasmandeep Kaur from the same institute, are going to present on the paper titled as Global Economic Crisis and Entrepreneurship in India. So as all of you are aware, and we are known that this is second day of our seminar. We are in second day of the seminar titled Make in India, Emerging Trends in Trade and Innovations for Effective Entrepreneurship. So you must have gone through various research scholars and various presenters over here. They have presented views regarding the main topic. We have selected this global economic crisis and its effect on entrepreneurship. So I'm just, before starting the main paper or coming directly to the objectives, as the paper itself, the name of the paper itself, that is entrepreneurship and the global economic crisis. So first of all, I would like to define the word entrepreneurship in a very simple term, as in the capacity and willingness to develop, organize and manage a business venture along with any of its risks in order to make a profit. This is basically what we know about when entrepreneurship in very simple terms. Now coming to the next important word, that is global economic crisis, which is still prevailing, started in the year 2008. I will try to take it in a very simple term, what was that and how it actually started. In the year 2008, in the US, they have started giving loans, household loans, to the people with bad credit rating. So with bad credit rating, who were not eligible for the normal loans. So they were not able to they were eligible for normal loans, and it started in this manner, and series of events leading to the culmination of this whole global economic crisis. People were not able to deliver the loans or interest on times, and all these events, series of these events, led to the culmination of this whole global economic crisis. Now I have taken this spillover effect also. Also famous as this crisis is also famous as subprime mortgage crisis, and another associated with it is spillover effect. What exactly is that? I will take this effect with the help of an example. For example, if a teacher or a lecturer is very happy and he is come by one news or the other from his house, and he comes to the class in a cheerful manner, so he holds the class in a very good manner, and effect is on the on the students also. They also find it wonderful, and they attend the lecture in a very good manner. So effect, primary news effect is also on the students also. So when the primary source, the effect of primary source is falling on the secondary sources, so spilling over to the secondary sources also, then it is termed as a spillover effect. So due to this whole global economic crisis that was first of all occurred in the US, all other economies of the countries were also affected, including India, because many of the countries have invested in the banks of the US, and somehow due to that investment, bank have shown themselves as bankrupt. So economies of other countries were also affected, as in secondary one. Primary one no doubt was US, but other economies were also affected. So you can say spillover effect. So this is the whole my topic is concerned. I have taken the few lines or few views for explaining my topic. Next, I am moving towards the causes of the global financial crisis, as in failure and ineffective financial market regulation, corporate governance break Basically, the laws, regulations, and mechanism for governing the corporates were not very transparent, were not very clear. And then third one is excessive borrowing by household. As I have told you, it started from house loans. Then lack of understanding of the financial system, and last is the systematic breaches, that is not following the ethics in this running the businesses and corporate units. Coming to the next is objectives of our study. Most important part, first and foremost objective is to find the impact of global economic crisis on entrepreneurship. Second is to study the role of government, financial institutions, educational institutions for improving the status of entrepreneurship. Third is to study the role of social entrepreneurship, as Rajesh sir has already taken social innovation in his speech and have very wonderfully what exactly is social innovation. My third objective is also related with that thing only, that is social entrepreneurship. It's a very new concept, and it's becoming very famous nowadays in the context of entrepreneurship basically, and there's a Make in India campaign launched by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Last but not the least of my objective is to explore the entrepreneurship is a tool for this economic to fulfill my objectives in this paper. The impact of global economic crisis on entrepreneurship. We have taken two indicators of entrepreneurship, that is new business registered and new business density rate, that is in one particular area how many businesses are being opened and number of businesses being opened for the year now in 1 year. So these indicators showed there is a positive relationship between global economic crisis and entrepreneurship. We have found during this recession period, during this global economic crisis, number of units open, number of new business registered were really very less. So there is a direct and positive relationship between the global economic crisis and the entrepreneurship. My second objective, I'm moving towards the second one, that is role of educational institutions for improving the status of entrepreneurship. First of all, a question arises, that is, can entrepreneurship be taught? As sir has already told in the inaugural session, Rajesh sir, whether is there any role of the institutions, educational institution, to taught this skills of entrepreneurship? So the answer is yes. We can taught this skill of entrepreneurship, and in this college RDIAS also we are having MBA. Most of you are thinking of having jobs in this company or that company or MNCs. They should be invited, placement officer, what is exactly is doing. But I suggest them, I advise them not to run for the jobs always and always. Your college has provided you a very good platform, so so you can go for this entrepreneurship also. Leading institutions we are having, Indian institutions की अगर हम बात करें तो we are having BITS Pilani, we are having IIT Mumbai, Ahmedabad, SP Jain Institute, etc. Madras, Kharagpur, Nirma University.
Please come your conclusion part.
Okay. So financial institutions we are having these one, that is the social entrepreneurship we have already done with the Rajesh sir. These are the NGOs which are providing social entrepreneurship. Then entrepreneurship as a tool for global economic crisis, no doubt, and this is the, as we have told, the number of units registered were less, but only this is the recession period only in which we can have more and more businesses registered and can be used to overcome the global economic crisis also. So it is now again I have taken a very interesting fact to discuss with you people, that is role of entrepreneurship in creation of these crises, because in the early year of 2008 various kind of financial innovations were done in the countries like US, and which ultimately leads, these financial innovations ultimately leads to the process of this global economic crisis. So you can say innovation or entrepreneurship is a double-edged sword. You have to use that sword very carefully in order to take it to overcome the recession or to bring the recession. So it's a double-edged sword, you have to take care it very carefully. So conclusions and suggestions from my side, no doubt it's a key catalyst for economic development, and we have to develop the initiative taking power and the entrepreneurial skills in our youth, because India is a country who is having 430 million of the people who are in the age group of 15 to 24, and by the year 2020 the most of the we are having the youth most commonly up to the age of 34. So you can very well understand, if we are inculcating the qualities, entrepreneurial qualities in our youth, we are definitely can have this skill, entrepreneurial skill in our youth, and ultimately these recessions kind of thing can be taken care of. Enhancing entrepreneurial spirit, creating adequate incentive system if the people are adopting it, and then creating business leadership in our youth. Thank you. That is all for my presentation. So house is open for the questions.
Questions from the audience? No, then no, sir. It only shows the keenness to learn. I wish to seek few insights.
Yes.
If you talk about what is the scope of your study?
Sir?
Scope of study. On one hand, we are talking about global meltdown, economic crisis, and that too when we
Sir,
talk
actually,
about
as
this
the-
subprime crisis, which happened, around about 10 years. We can say it is nearing to 10 years. Now, you have tried to establish a relationship between entrepreneurship and the crisis, global crisis. So, if you talk about data related to entrepreneurial activities, is it a global data, is it an Indian data, or is it a state-wise data?
Sir, I have taken whatever I have taken it in our slides, basically based on outside also as well as Indian. That is MSME sector key reports. I have taken it. I have not discussed in this one. So that is in Indian context, but in the starting, I have taken one or two slides for the outside countries also who are doing in the field of entrepreneurship and trying to inculcate the these entrepreneurial skills or innovative skills in our people.
No, got it. Only a study deeper insights. Once
For India
okay,
basically.
you have linked what happened globally and what are
How it is
what
affected-
is the consequence in
Yeah.
India.
Yes, sir.
So if you talk about entrepreneurial activities, what was the data source from which you could identify or trace how many entrepreneurial ventures were registered, non-registered? What is the last source?
I have gone through only the MSME's report of year 2008, 2009
Okay.
to the 2014. Ki how many businesses were failed and how many were new registered.
Fine.
And all these
Fine.
things.
So any student, probably none of you wants to be an entrepreneur.
Every type of recession, what are the impact, economic impact in Indian context? 2008, recession started.
No, fine, fine. Are you asking to the presenters? Oh, that's fine.
Sir, what's the question?
Madam, during time of recession, 2008, United States of America, lot of development, facing lot of problems. So what are the economic impact?
As I have taken this spillover effect, and I have told in my presentation that India was affected. Secondary sources, as in secondary source, Indian economy was also affected. Not exactly in that, but still, as I have told, this recession is still prevailing. We are not out of recession till date. So India is a country which was affected by this particular recession, but not directly, due to savings and all we are having in the other banks of this India. So not affected directly, but affected to some extent by this economic crisis of US subprime
Fine.
crisis.
In fact, let me help out my colleague. In fact, so if you're asking a question like that, how come to what extent India was affected by this economic crisis? Now, two things. Be proud to be an Indian. First thing, why? Because we are people who save to a large extent. Second, we are a huge nation with huge domestic consumption. So whatever happens globally, if the magnitude of a developed economy is at the 0.8 on a scale of 10, we will always be on a point.
In addition to this, our central bank's role was very effective. Our policies are so rigid that the financial are not allowed to go beyond that.
True.
Defaulters and bad credit rating.
I think it's an interesting topic, and if you continue, we can devote complete day on it. So thank you, and a big round of applause for the presenters. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So second presentation is by Kaushik P and Gupta N. Please.
Pallav Kaushik PPT. Very warm greetings to all the people present here. I am Pallav Kaushik. I am here to present a paper topic, a conceptual overview of bootstrap financing in context of Make in India program, along with my co-researcher, Dr. Nidhi Gupta. These are the objectives of my paper. To represent various theories and practices related to bootstrap financing that are being used by small and new entrepreneurs, to build the capacity to understand the challenging role of an entrepreneur in financing its new business, to address future entrepreneurs who try to achieve competitive advantage through bootstrap financing. Scope: entrepreneurship, entrepreneur low or limited financing option would be very much benefited by understanding this type of paper. Management or other student who are willing to start a venture, any individual who is looking to start a small venture, individual or small businesses looking for expansion or startup under the program of Make in India. Methodology: qualitative research method approach is used under this study. As per objective, several is being studied in context of topic. Data relating to study is collected from journal, magazines, papers, periodical and websites that are secondary in nature. The entire study is based on secondary data only. PM Modi is very much aspired to make India an industrial nation. So that's why he infused us with the concept of Make in India program. The paper reviews the approach of bootstrap financing conceptually in context to Make in India. That means how bootstrap financing will help to small and budding entrepreneurs to reap some benefit out of the entire big Make in India program. These are the sectors covered under Make in India, ranging from automobiles to wellness, tourism, thermal, etc. etc. Bootstrap financing, according to Freehar Soul and Wetzel 1995, defined bootstrap financing as highly creative way of acquiring the use of resources without borrowing money or raising equity financing from traditional sources. We already been studied management from such a long time. The official definition of management is an art and science as well. This bootstrap financing is the art part of management. What is the capability, how artistically an entrepreneur could use or dispose the available or very limited resources in its day-to-day operation to reap out maximum utility from its operations. Small firm difficulties associated with rising capital are a result of their lack of access to capital markets and inability to extract external investors. External investors and angel investors are only willing to invest in such businesses who have solid financial backgrounds. That is the only problem which is majorly faced by small entrepreneurs. They have limited amount of finance availability because they have limited amount of exposure and skill set available. Now, discussion and findings. Sources of bootstrap financing. There are n number of bootstrap financing sources, but these are the few identifiable that I am able to identify, as we can say that bootstrap financing is a very creative function. any person any entrepreneur use its resources in a very different creative way. These are the few bootstrap financing sources. Number one is trade credit. The required strategy for gaining trade credit is to convince supplier in such a way that a win-win scenario is perceived from supplier and firm. We have an entrepreneur have to create, or I can say that to convince a supplier that as long as the supplier is providing support to the entrepreneur, there is a win-win situation for both the parties. The cost of trade the cost of trade credit cost should be observed and analyzed so that a large customer can be managed effectively within the cost of trade credit. Factoring, large clients should be identified and these clients should be transferred to for factoring and other benefits, so that even the smooth operation flow will continue and no longer working capital issues exist in the business. Customer, an entrepreneur should have to discuss cash sales strategy and convince its customer to support him, because he is a small entrepreneur. He is he is suffering threat from the external environment, so that, and he should able to convince his customer that the customer should buy his product and help the business in running. Real estate cost is a major concern for entrepreneurs nowadays. Real estate cost is very costly, so that the small enterprise, a small venture should be can use the partnering. They can share workspace, so that they can create a win-win scenario for both the sharers of common real estate. Equipment supplier, although the strategy here can be used to rent out the equipment instead of purchasing it on ad hoc basis. The entrepreneur may not be rent out the available equipment and use it on ad hoc basis. As the requirement pass on, he should return the equipment to the supplier. Although the variable cost per unit of product may rise, but the initial capital investment can be used to finance working capital requirement of firm. Leasing, the strategy can be used here to lease in a collaborative way with another partner, and equipment can be shared on timely basis or on ad hoc basis. Avoid the need of financing. The strategy here can be to make purchases on ad hoc basis or as per the required orders. No need to to maintain stock, or no need to pile up with the unnecessary unwanted inventory which might or might not be used in coming future. The rationale for using bootstrap financing is the worth of firm. This is my further of study. Empirical researches on success rate of bootstrap businesses over Making in India program, behavioral study of successful bootstrap business owner, causal study of unsuccessful bootstrap businesses. Conclusion: the discussion indicates that ownership structure and type of firm do have a significant impact on the use of bootstrap financing. Not all type of firm reaps the benefit of bootstrapping. Only small startup have competitive edge in bootstrapping financing, as there are low capital requirement. With the main pitfall of the bootstrap financing, it cannot appeal to large capital required industries. If I decide to start up an energy business, the bootstrap financing is not my thing. In a country like India, where there are lots of problems faced by entrepreneurs in form of government policies, licenses, and even taxation scheme, the initiative of government in boosting entrepreneurship through the program of Make in India will appeal to lots of new entrepreneurs. Bootstrap finance will be helpful to small startup and raise notion of entrepreneurship at even micro level of the economy. Thank you.
Well, questions from the audience first. It was. Yes, it's compulsory for every student to ask one question. Yes, please. Very good.
Sir, how can a letter of credit help in increasing the finance?
Letter of credit would definitely appeal to the supplier that the entrepreneur is taking supplies from. The supplier will be ensured that this entrepreneur has a customer who would going to help him in giving back the money the supplier is providing without the cost of trade.
Thank you.
I have a question, sir. How can a firm employ this bootstrap financing to stretch its current capital supply? Is there any mechanism to do so?
Bootstrap financing can be, you can say we can break the bootstrap financing at even the micro level of organization. Even a single individual person can think about bootstrap financing and reduce the cost so much that the entire operation will get cost effective and smooth as well.
I think we have this much scope only, and it was a nice topic. Probably if once in future what you are planning to do, if you go for empirical study of the same, it will be a wonderful addition to the existing body of knowledge and practices. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to present my paper, and the title is Boundaryless Career Attitude and Subjective Career Success Indicating Gender Difference. Starting with the first one, that is the introduction. Since the middle of the 1990s, we have witnessed an increasing number of external shocks in the labor market that has reduced the amount of stability felt by the individuals. Along with this, the introduction of the internet as a very powerful tool all have witnessed has changed the entire employment structure. Moreover, the employment disruptions associated with the dot-com boom and bust, instabilities in the political and economic environment, along with the tragedies of the 11th September 2001, that is the Pentagon crash, as well as the natural disasters across the globe like the tsunamis, Katrina and hurricane, they have almost threatened the entire employability. Considering the worldwide economic financial crisis as well as economic crisis, threatened individuals' security regarding employment have altered and bring into a very flexible approach as far as career is concerned. It has given introduction of two new terminologies in human resource management. The first and foremost is the protein career approach, where an individual these days is no more dependent upon the employer for the career growth. That doesn't mean the employer is not supported him. He is supported by the employer, but yes, he himself is taking an initiative. Second is boundaryless career. The entire paper focuses upon the boundaryless career. Boundaryless career means that within the organization, when there is a movement of employee from one department to another. Second would be if an employee is shifting from one state to the another within the same organization. Third is if an employee is shifting from one organization to another. Fourth would be if an employer is shifting from one country to another. And fifth is if in case of females especially, if they people are taking any maternity break or they are going for any child care break. All these are emerged into a new science and new technology in human resource management, that is boundaryless career. Along with this, there are associated two important terminologies. One is the objective career success, in which more emphasis is on observable, measurable and verifiable attainments like the pay, promotion, salary. Second would be the subjective career success, in which much emphasis is based upon the satisfaction level of employee in a particular company over a period of time, which helps an organization to enhance the loyalty factor at their point of time only. Going by the literature review, it has been observed that there are many research have been done upon career, but yes, since the boundaryless as well as boundaryless career is a new topic which has emerged 21 years ago. In 1994, it was first of all proposed by author. So there is a few scope which of the research needs to be done. Coming to the objectives of this study, the first and foremost objective is to study the relationship between boundaryless career attitude and subjective career success. Second is to analyze gender difference in relation between boundaryless career attitude and subjective career success. Based on these two objectives, there are two hypotheses. First is there is a relationship between boundaryless mindset and subjective career success in case of women. Second is there is a relationship between organizational mobility and subjective career success in case of men. Now here both the hypotheses, they are alternative and not the null hypothesis. Reason being there is extensive literature as far as which is supporting both of these hypotheses. Going by the research methodology, the paper is basically a primary done through collection of primary data, but yes, it is that no research is complete without the inclusion of the secondary data. Any research, it starts with the literature review which has the secondary data, as well as any researcher who has submitted his thesis put forward the literature review for the next budding research scholars. So it's a kind of a relay race. So I have taken data from the CMI, that is Center for Monitoring Indian Economy of IT, starting from 2010 to 2014. It has given me the top 2 IT companies in NCR that based upon two factors. First is the market share and second is the revenue. So here comes apart from this, the instrument used for collection of data through standardized questionnaire. 3 standardized questionnaire. First and foremost is proposed by Briscoe in 2006 for boundaryless mind. Second is a 5-item scale. Okay. Sampling design, population is finite over here. Sampling size, the following formula is used in order to calculate the sample size. Coming by the sampling technique, probability sampling technique followed by multi-stage random sampling. Why multi-stage random sampling? Because this study has done in India. In India, it is in NCR, Delhi NCR. Inside Delhi NCR, only in IT sector, and inside IT sector, it's only for the graduates, so BTech graduates as well as the people belonging to MCA. Now statistical tools used are t-test is used, as well as the confirmatory factor analysis, which provide an enhanced control for assessing the unidimensionality. Going by the findings, the values of the Cronbach alpha, they are quite satisfactory in all the cases. This includes this is you can say the findings of the CFA, a very beautiful diagram. It's look like a circuit diagram, but yes, this is the crux, or which is showing the, you can say, the relationship between the boundaryless mobility, organizational mobility preference, as well as the successful career over here. Going by the details, it has been found out that for validity, we have the convergent validity measured by average. Okay, sir. Fine, sir. These are the values from the model fit and then the test. Coming to the conclusion, like scope, limitations and conclusion, it has been concluded from the study that either it's women or man, career success is positively related with the boundaryless career attitude and career success. And the same is supported by the, in 2004, Hall has proposed entirely the same study. Employees adopting boundaryless career approach focuses much upon higher efficiency, and in terms of women these days, they people are more career oriented, but yes, the cost of climbing career ladder is very high. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why only one part? Objective career success.
Sir, only one part I have taken. Reason being because when we talk about the movement of employee from one organization to another, it has been observed that these days people are not running after the salaries only. It's about the satisfaction part also. Like when you name the world's best company in HRM or world's best company to work for, Google lies at the top. So reason over here is people are more focusing upon the satisfaction level also. It's not merely upon the pay as well as the promotion, though they are a part of the career life, but yes, more focus is upon the satisfaction within from the employee, that yes, I am an employee who is satisfied by work. Thank you. Sir, IT employees I have taken, and the companies associated, like the IT employees I have taken. I have written over here from the CMIE Proways data. I have taken companies, and out of two, you can say, parameters. One is the market share, and the second one is the revenue. And it has been concluded out from this that Infosys lies at the top, followed by HCL. So data is collected from these two companies only. Thank you.
There's one more question. Just a small question.
Yes, sir.
I use the multi-stage sampling, which
Yes,
is
sir.
a better selection, which generally people go for convenience. We have
Yes,
taken a
sir.
Could you please tell me the stage-wise breakup for your sample size?
Sir, stage-wise breakup over here is like I have quoted that the study is entirely done in India. In India, it is in Delhi and NCR. In NCR, I have taken IT sector. In IT sector, people who have done BTech or MCA, and inside that, depending upon, like I have used the word probability sampling. So probabilities I have chosen and picked them as per the probability only, like the top two IT companies, and I have picked them. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, sir. Actually, sir, this is a small, you can say, research paper. I am pursuing my PhD also on the same topic, where I have developed and I have given details or stepwise sampling also. Here, because of, you can say,
Multi-stage sampling. I think it's
okay, sir, I'll check out.
Okay, no, if
question.
Yeah.
Like you have taken sampling units from the IT industry.
Yes, sir.
It means the results cannot be generalized for all the industries.
So I have put forward the same in my limitations also, because since all the data is less as well as limitations, the sample size is small, and the same I have mentioned in scope for future research also. This research is specific with IT industry, so we can, if we want to check out more about any another industry, we can go for another research. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. In fact, we also had a few questions, but we'll be discussing this over lunch.
Okay,
So
sir.
it was nice,
Thank you, sir.
systematic work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have next, the fourth presentation is by Garg.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ayush Yadav and my partner Juhigar. We are the student from School of Management, Bharat Institute of Technology. Today we are here to represent our research paper on the topic of the challenges during the implementation of Make in India campaign. What is Make in India? Make in India is a national program. Make in India is a national program transformed into a global manufacturing hub. It was launched by our Prime Minister on 25th September 2014 with various aims and motives. These are the content. First one, introduction, then objective of the study, then advantages, the sector. These are the many sectors, but we are discussing some of them. Then the challenges, then conclusions. Introduction. On Independence Day speech, where our Prime Minister discussed about the zero defect and zero effect. What is zero defect? Zero defect is making a product without any defect. So, zero effect policy. Zero effect is manufacturing does not adverse effect on our environment. To convert into a global manufacturing hub to help the create jobs, economic wealth, and it raise a living of standards. To urge both local and foreign companies to invest in India. The logo is talking about the Make in India campaign made of cogs. Made of cogs, that means manufacturing our national grid power and a strength. These are the objectives of the study. First one, they designed to facilitate investment. Means to convince foreign companies to invest in our country. Foster innovation is means to that new technology adopted, new creativities and innovation ideas. These are the enhanced skill development is means to that it raise our skill development, educations, training and development of performance appraisals. Then we build best in class manufacturing infrastructure is that to clear providing best infrastructure to our companies. Further slides to be continued, my friends.
These are the various advantages of Make in India campaign. The first is competitive advantages is to attract investment from the business around the world. Investors are ready to invest because India, no doubt, India is have so many resources with natural resources as well as human resources. If they are going to invest in a country, they produce at their less cost and earn maximum profit. The another advantage of this campaign is there is 100% FDI allowed in telecom sector as well as brand retail. Job creation in manufacturing sector. The main aim of this campaign is to make a country a global manufacturing hub. It provides various job opportunities to the youngsters. Living standard also rise. If the person get the job whether skilled or unskilled, their rise of income will also increase and living standard will also increase. We invited global corporate to our countries. Sectors. The main initiative of this campaign is to attract major economic sectors of the economy like automobile, service, agriculture, defense, electronic, pharmaceuticals. Agriculture sector. As all we know, agriculture is the backbone of a country. It includes highest in the GDP. Now it is an important source of raw material and demand for manufacturing sector. As per the vision, as per the vision statement, manufacturing takes with zero defects and zero effect policy. Zero defect. Let's think about making the product zero effect. That means the product cannot be come back from the world's market. Whereas a zero effect talks about does not have a negative impact on the environment. This campaign provides domestic and overseas investors with the environment. Automobile sector. Automobile sector is a major industrial and economic force worldwide which provides 60 million cars, truck and a year. They are responsible for almost half of the world's consumption of oil. Although there are many challenges, but the biggest challenges of Make in India campaign, it can be seen on the first day that China has also launched a Make in China campaign, and another is as well as Make in India also. That extending urban facilities in rural areas. There are many facilities to be faced in urban cities, but rural areas are still backward. They are not such services. Improving education standard. Education standard should be improved so that every people can come and recruit for their jobs. These are the following challenges. Conclusion. The union government aims to clear the daunting image because there are so many rules and regulations which are followed, loads of procedures, and after the so many challenges, our Make in India campaign provides the best quality of the product, innovative products, and the best availability of resources are there and deliver the best product. Thank you.
Questions from the audience, please. No? Okay, but I appreciate your confidence I appreciate your willingness and enthusiasm to come on a platform and to throw some light on the domain. It was a wonderful effort from your side. There's a lot to learn. You did a remarkable job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rukmani Devi.
The next presentation is from Anushri Vishal. Hi, Sai Ganesh Gala.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I, Anushri, and my friend Mr. Ganesh is here to present on Indian company evolving as multinational companies. Content include what is an MNC, need for Indian companies to turn into an MNC, potentials of Indian company, challenges faced by Indian companies. Introduction. One of first multinational business organization, the East India Company, arose in 1600. After East India Company, Dutch East India Company came into existence on March 20 and 1602. So the concept of international trade is very old and in existence since ages. Till few years back, MNC in India meant an organization with its headquarters located outside of India. In Indian eyes, MNCs meant a foreign company which has come to India. These Indian MNCs define trait of an that they are incorporated in its home country and doing business in several countries. The other synonyms of MNCs are transnational corporation and stateless corporations. What is MNC? It is a corporation that manages production and or delivers services in more than one country. Needs of Indian company to turn into multinational. Financial needs, business expansion and diversification of business. Financial needs includes like as the customers will grow worldwide, we will get the high monetary benefit and thus leading to high financial stabilization. Business expansion diversification is very necessary for Indian companies to grow in a market as the customer needs are growing and we need to meet that need we should diversify and expand. Potentials of Indian companies are financially capable enough to survive in the global market, technically updated with advancement in the technology, enough expertise knowledge to face the challenges faced by Indian company: cultural impact, liquidity shortage, regulatory policies, and fluctuating exchange value. Further slides, analysis, and interpretation of data collected will be carried by Mr. Ganesh.
As per the study, we have actually two data collected. That is, one is primary data and the secondary data. The secondary data consists of all the articles from the news and from few websites which we have taken and some reference books. And the primary data which we have collected is through a self-constructed questionnaire, and we have taken this questionnaire from 100 respondents who are a part of who are academicians and few industrial managers and who are well versed in their own field. So as per this study and interpretation, we can major part of the people feel that the main challenge that is faced by Indian companies while turning into multinational company is that the regulatory policies. The regulatory policies in our country keeps on changing with the time. If they are enough stable and would give a flexibility for Indian companies to change accordingly, so it would be easy for the company to turn into a multinational. The major potentials of Indian company turning into a MNC. So felt that Indian companies have more expertise knowledge to face the challenges in the world market. Then, should the what part of government should play its role? while helping the Indian companies. To our surprise, we found that they felt that the government should give the enough freedom to all those companies rather than intervening in each and every policy that a company frames. And these were the needs. The main, actually, it is a diversified opinion of the people that some said that it must be an expansion. Okay, as a conclusion, as per study, we can infer that Indian companies do have the potentials to turn into a multinational company with a growing economy. Despite of oncoming challenges, Indian companies are ready enough to survive and develop in the global market. As a conclusive note, let me tell you, it is not, we are not short of innovation. We are just short of implementation, and we are not short of capable entrepreneurs in our country. We are just short of encouragement for them. So let's make in India, let us make it in India, and let's build a brand new India. Thank you.
Questions?
Let me cover it. The topic is very good, but I think we must improve the ways how to achieve that financial diversifications. I think it will add more value. It will be a learning experience for you. Kindly do that.
So excuse us, this is the first attempt, so we couldn't do it.
This is what I am saying. I
Yes.
appreciate it, but there is further scope also.
Yes, sir.
Because
Sure, sir, we'll do it.
ultimately steps are very important.
Yes.
How to proceed? It will be very good for the others to follow. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you. In fact, I appreciate the same. Students now coming on the days, trying, making an attempt to develop deeper insights into the issues which are of much relevance nowadays. I congratulate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shivani Narang.
Excuse me. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shivani. I'm from HEBS, MIT University. Firstly, I would like to thank Firstly, I would like to thank Rukmani Devi Institute of Advanced Studies for facilitating us to come before Ministry of MSME. The topic I'm covering is impact of political, social, economic risk on India's international trade. We would study about the social imperatives.
42. This is an alarming issue. The World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness Index GCI reports 2015 says that India ranks 71 among it seems to be good when we say it is 71 among 142 countries, but let me unfold it that initially when it was started in 2004, India ranked 41. So we are sliding. Probable reasons. Now I am coming up to the problem why we are moving back. So it is related to the policy will certainly have a positive effect on the growth, and it will increase all the processes related to the acquisition and availability of technical people and the several other legislative procedures, but nothing is free. When we are inviting this thing, then we have to compromise on certain parameters. We have to compromise, maybe we may have to amend our laws. And when I am talking about amendment of our laws, I am backing the studies, I am backing the comments which are coming from the developed nation that remove section 3D from your Indian Patent Act, and if it will be removed, then it will definitely have a negative impact on the growth of Indian pharmaceutical industry. And that is why whether it should be make in India or it should be in India by Indians, the industry where we are already having a competitive advantage. So this is what I can say. And another very important section which I would like to say.
Thank you
Sir.
because
Thank you much. Yes, sir.
Takeout should be made in India or made in India.
Yes. So when we say, when I am focusing on pharmaceutical industry, right? I am a promoter that it should be made in India by Indians because we are all competitive edge in this sector. But when it to other sectors, yes, it should be make in India.
Oh, wonderful. Very diplomatic answer. Okay.
It's not a diplomatic answer. This is what my analysis says.
so no, it goes depends upon opinion to opinion. In fact, if this initiative of Make in India becomes successful, then obviously the driver will be the Made in India. So if this thing ultimately it will become so fine.